Hello everyone. So I've been slowly making my way through perfection in Stardew Valley for the very first time here on YouTube, and if you've watched those videos, you'll know that I have messed up quite a few things in my first attempt to reach perfection, mostly due to ignorance and or horrible planning. In this video, I want to reflect on the mistakes I made on my journey to perfection that were the most impactful while also sharing constructive feedback from my own personal experience. Because boy, have I learned a lot, and I would do a lot of things differently. If you haven't watched my journey to perfection here on YouTube, excluding 300 because I'm still in the process of editing the final video, I will link them in the description box below, and if you just so happen to enjoy these videos, drop me a like and subscribe. It's free and it lets me know I should make more. Before I get started, I do want to make a few more clarifications. While there are beginner-friendly sections in this video covers my entire perfection journey, so it may not be suitable for those avoiding late game spoilers, especially new content found in patch 1.6. Okay, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's dive right in with some tips starting in spring. Mistake number 1. I was so busy making a to-do list for everything I needed to accomplish to reach perfection in Stardew Valley that I didn't plan on what my fields would look like, so I messed up as early as day 1. I immediately started planting my parsnips without even considering sprinklers later, and that was a huge mistake. By planning your crop field layout with quality sprinklers in mind, you will save so much time down the road instead of frantically redigging and re-hoeing your fields come summer to make space for new sprinklers. Since I didn't fix the problem while plowing my fields for summer crops, I was watering my blueberry plants daily because I couldn't bring myself to chop any down for quality sprinkler placement. At this point, I clearly should have just chopped some of them down to make room, but I was too stubborn and decided to put off fixing my fields until autumn. This meant I wasn't capitalizing on other chores like mining, fishing, etc. because I was stuck in my fields until noon with little to no energy left. Mistake number 2. I'm pretty embarrassed to admit this one, but I only managed to purchase 4 strawberries on spring 13 total. And as you can probably imagine, this messed up all of my early expenses. Since I was barely getting by from selling fish and the little crops that I had, I couldn't afford things like tool upgrades or buildings that I needed. Strawberries are the best crop profit source this early in the game, so I highly recommend planting and selling as many as you can. It will make the rest of the year flow so much more easily, or at least the transition from spring into summer. Mistake number 3. I have no one to blame but myself for this one. For whatever reason, I would consume spring forageables like dandelions, leeks, and horseradish for energy instead of crafting field snacks from tree seeds. Or even worse, I would sell the spring forageables for little to nothing instead of storing them in a chest to use in the spring seeds crafting recipe. The spring seeds crafting recipe is used in the tea sapling crafting recipe, and I initially thought the tea sapling was nerfed in patch 1.6, but I was wrong. Now I know that the selling price of the tea sapling was nerfed from 500 gold down to 250 gold in patch 1.6, but you can actually make even more money from it instead of outright selling it after you craft it. Here's how. So the tea sapling requires 20 days to grow, you don't have to water it. When it's matured, the tea leaves it produces can be collected daily on the last week of the season, and they sell for 50 gold each. If the tea leaves are harvested and sold daily, that's 350 gold per tea sapling. But it doesn't stop there because now you can chop down the tea sapling after harvesting the tea leaves on the last day of a season. By chopping down the tea sapling, you will get a tea sapling to replant in your fields, or you can place it into the shipping bin for 250 gold. Now you've made 600 gold. It sounds pretty tedious, but imagine having multiple tea saplings planted at once. Mistake number 4. I encourage you to take advantage of selling crops and fish directly to Pierre and Willie, especially during spring, so you can use the money right away to purchase, plant, and start growing more crops day of, or make any other purchases like tool upgrades and construction. And don't worry, any profit buffs you receive through skill professions apply. Mistake number 5. So I want to preface this by saying I didn't necessarily mess up fishing. I caught the legends in every fish within the first 100 days, but I never purchased the fish smoker to funnel all of those fish into easy money. Fishing is an easy way to make money early on while you wait for crops to grow, and it's just worth it. If I were to do this again though, smoking catfish during rainy days in spring would be a priority as they give the most monies in fishing EXP early on. Once you reach fishing level 5, you can choose to earn 25% more gold from fishing and later a 50% profit buff at level 10 that includes the selling price of smoked fish. Starting on the Riverlands farm will net you a free fish smoker, otherwise the crafting recipe costs 10,000 gold from Willie. It requires all 3 fishing jellies, the river jelly, ocean jelly, and mountain jelly, and some hardwood. If I still haven't sold you on dropping 10,000 gold on the fish smoker, you should check out my Riverlands video. There's just so much money to be made. Mistake number 6. Okay, this was a fun one for me to write because initially I said to hell with fish ponds. I thought they were useless, but guess what? I was wrong. Some of you told me I was wrong in the comments, but what you didn't tell me was you could double the production of anything produced in fish ponds by tossing in an animal cracker. One of the most popular fish ponds in Stardew Valley was the lava eel fish pond. It produces lava eel roe. With the artisan buff, the preserved roe will bring you earnings to a little over 1,000 gold daily. By tossing in the animal cracker, it will double the amount of roe produced. As an added bonus, the barrel next to the fish pond will turn gold, which is actually pretty cool. To make it even better, patch 1.6.9 lets you toss your legendary fish into the fish ponds as well. These fish ponds will produce legendary roe and each have a unique water color as well. Mistake number 7. So I didn't learn about this one until after the fact, but to make your progress in the mines that much easier and to ditch that useless rusty sword ASAP, use the elevator to move back and forth between floors 10 to 30 and kill as many bugs as you can. Once you defeat 80 of them, you'll be rewarded with the Bug Slayer monster eradication goal, and you will receive the Insect Head weapon at the Adventurers Guild. The Insect Head is a level 6 weapon that can easily take you past floor 80 to 90 at least. The Obsidian Edge, another level 6 sword, is found in a chest on floor 90, and that's the next best weapon you'll find from chest, even though it is slower than the Insect Head. Like I said, I didn't get the Insect Head weapon. Instead, I got the next best thing, the Yeti Tooth. The Yeti Tooth is a level 7 sword found between floors 80 through 99. The Yeti Tooth can be found by breaking boxes and crates. It's actually pretty rare, and it helped me get all the way to the bottom pretty quickly. Mistake number 8. Since we're talking about slaying bugs, did you know that bugs have a 0.5% chance to drop ancient seeds? I'm bringing this up because I actually found an ancient seed really early, which is very lucky, but I didn't even bother planting it until after I unlocked the greenhouse in autumn. Ancient seeds are difficult to find and they require an entire season to mature, but they can be harvested repeatedly and are commonly used to make wine for a big profit late game. Be sure to give your first ancient seed to the museum. You'll get the ancient seed crafting recipe and a free packet of ancient seeds to plant on your farm. You can plant them as soon as you want to, just be sure you have your sprinkler layout already configured so you don't have to mow any down later. And save a few normal quality ancient fruit for seed makers later to replant them in the greenhouse. Mistake number 9. Something that could have saved me a lot of trouble back when I was researching how to make perfection easier is making a list of what villagers' gift items are. I could have used them to my advantage in the community center bundles. For example, Demetrius can potentially send a Nautilus shell in the mail, an item required for the Field Research Bulletin Board bundle. Items received as gifts in the mail can be reset just by restarting the day. So if, for example, Demetrius sends you something lame like an amethyst, just reset the day as many times as you want and check the mail to get the Nautilus shell instead. Mistake number 10. Since I had started with the free coop on the Meadowlands farm, I really wish I had prioritized upgrading my barn to purchase pigs sooner, but I simply didn't realize how profitable pigs could be. If I were to do a perfection run again, I would prioritize the barn to be finished in summer, and here's why. Pigs that are fed daily will mature after 10 nights have passed. A mature and fed pig produces truffles daily, sometimes 2, if their affection towards the player is high enough. By tossing truffles into the oil maker machine, you will earn easy money. Additionally, if you choose the botanist profession, every truffle will be iridium quality, which sells for 1,250 gold each. For those wondering, truffle oil without artisan sells for 1,065 gold, while truffle oil with artisan sells for 1,491 gold. Just remember, pigs will not find truffles in winter, so get started on those barn upgrades early. Mistake number 11. Patch 1.6 brought a lot of new changes to the game that I just wasn't familiar with. A lot of us were going in blind while learning about all these new things along the way, so I don't blame myself for messing a lot of it up. There just wasn't a lot of information about it at the time, but I do think it's really important to share my experience with the new content as I really regret some of the decisions I made. I really want to talk about the new mastery skill system. It works a little bit like this. Once you reach mastery in every skill, farming, foraging, fishing, mining, and combat, you can begin earning experience on a new mastery bar found on your character page. Once you reach level 1 on the mastery bar, you may choose a skill to master in the hidden mastery room. Each mastery skill has unique rewards that will greatly help you on your farm. These can be unlocked in any order, and this is where I messed up because the sequence in which you unlock these can be super beneficial, or in my case, detrimental because I couldn't take advantage of the rewards. I chose the new farming mastery first, and while it is very powerful, I didn't have the ingredients to craft the rewards I was given, rendering this decision nearly useless. The combat mastery gives you a combat trinket slot that is so good in the Skull Caverns. You also unlock crafting recipes for a forge and an anvil, and I felt so foolish for unlocking this last. Mistake number 12. Last but not least, I want to share my biggest mistake mistake I made in my first ever perfection run. This mistake really snowballed how long it took for me to reach perfection in my game due to financial issues. And yeah, no, not just the strawberries, although that did affect my playthrough quite a bit. I want to mention my awful greenhouse iridium sprinkler layout. I messed this up so many times because some guys out there are wrong. But also, much like my issue with the tip number 1, I was too far in and too lazy to fix it. I didn't realize how important it was to get the greenhouse started early if I wanted to have 10 million gold to get the golden clock and reach perfection. Even now, as I'm working on my 300-day video, I frequently underestimate how many ancient fruit and starfruit seeds, oak resin, wood, and kegs I need to make enough money. It's a lot, and it's best to start early with a good idea with how much it will actually take. Anyway, there are multiple variations for the iridium sprinkler layout in the greenhouse, but you really want to make sure you do it right the first time, especially if you're planting ancient fruit seeds. There's nothing more devastating than thinking you've got everything figured out, then you realize you've messed it up and you have to mow down a few of your precious ancient fruit plants. That's basically it for my collection of tips for my perfection adventures in Stardew Valley. It was a struggle, I was deep in the trenches, I knew only pain, and I hope my suffering can help those venturing towards perfection for the first time. If you are a beginner to Stardew and you're interested in a more beginner-friendly video, please let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to create a beginner-friendly tips video as someone who only recently started discovering so many things about this game that I had no idea about. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye everybody.